Meanwhile, the Director of Public Prosecution, Noordin Haji, has told the Judicial Service Commission that there is sufficient and overwhelming evidence to warrant the JSC to recommend the removal of Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu from office. In her response, the DCJ termed the DPP's petition as sub judice since the matter is still pending in court. Setolale with the details.
Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Philomena Mwilu, appeared before the Judicial Service Commission, chaired by Chief Justice David Maraga, this time not as a member, but as an accused person. In a petition submitted to the JSC by Queen's Counsel Hawar Qureshi, representing the Director of Public Prosecution, Noordin Haji, the DPP wants Mwilu removed from office on two grounds, namely breach of the Judicial Code of Conduct and gross misconduct and misbehavior. The DPP alleges that, and I quote, the Deputy Chief Justice breached the Judicial Code of Conduct when she used her office as Court of Appeal judge to advance private interest and obtain a loan of 12 million shillings at zero interest without even applying for it. The alleged particulars of gross misconduct and misbehavior involving Mwilu include tax evasion, forgery, and fraud. In her defense, through her lawyers James Orengo, Nelson Harvey, and Julie Soweto, Mwilu quoted the High Court's finding that the Director of Criminal Investigations illegally obtained the evidence underpinning the intended criminal prosecution, with the court consequently quashing the criminal proceedings against her. The DCJ further argues that the DPP already appealed the High Court's ruling, and therefore the Judicial Service Commission should not consider any matter that is the subject of ongoing litigation or consideration before the courts. This, she argues, is because the GSC is part of the legal system of administration of justice and exercises judicial authority in the same vein as the courts do. Having formally received submissions from both parties, the GSC has directed the DPP to file his response to the two applications by 13th January 2020, while the DCJ is expected to submit any further affidavit by 20th January 2020. The two parties will be cross-examined on their affidavits, with the hearing of the two applications scheduled for 18th and 19th March 2020. The hearing of a petition filed by the Director of Public Prosecution, Noordin Haji, at the Court of Appeal against High Court's ruling that faulted the manner in which the DCI conducted its investigations on DCJ Philomena Mwilu is expected to commence next year. Sep Olale, NTV, Nairobi.